welcome back to another episode of What's Gucci?
With your host, Dollar Sign.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of What's Gucci? Where the good people here at Dirty Doc Productions try to document everything that goes on in the community that's Gucci.
So the weather is changing, and for the better, of course. It's always better when it's warm because I can do more things outside. I can record more things outside. I do a little bit of in-studio recording so that I can get myself on camera and talk to y'all the way I do. But when I'm in the field, when I got the camera outside and the weather is nice, I'm able to record, because lately it's been raining a lot and the weather hasn't been as warm as we would like. But now the weather is changing, it's getting warmer. Go out, record, get some things done. New York City has a lot of churches that have been around since, let's say since this country was established. New York City, they probably didn't start building New York City until, maybe the late 1700s, early 1800s. Probably earlier than that. I don't know the oldest church in this city, but as I roll around the city, I'll give you a glimpse of some of the architecture, and probably some of the churches will show the date when they were erected to give you an idea of how long these buildings been around. I know at least 200 years some of them have been in the city and are still standing, which is remarkable, seeing as some of the buildings that are being built now don't even last that long. I can't say for certain whether the New York Public Library has been in New York City for as long as some of the churches, but it sure looks like it may have been, and undergone a whole lot of renovation. Some of the best images you'll see of a church can be taken at night. I don't know why churches have those Gothic looking statues on them, maybe to ward off evil spirits, which would be ironic because most people consider like gargoyles and other creatures such as that, evil. So it is strange.
This here, what you're looking at, is the Flatiron Building located in Midtown Manhattan on 23rd Street. You may have recognized this building immediately due to the fact it is prominently used in many motion pictures, commercials, and TV shows. It divides Fifth Avenue and Broadway. This is literally the crossroads to the world of industry in New York City. At the top of this building, the words read, "Neither snow nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed grounds, as you can see, is the United States Post Office. The architecture is obviously Greek and currently is under construction. Well, at least during the time of this shooting. What you are looking at is one of the most prominent buildings in New York City. This building actually sits on the whole square block. And as you can see, at the top of this building flies the United States flag along with the New York flag. Now, you may have recognized this building immediately, just like the Flatiron Building, due to the statue out front of the lion. Some people may have become confused because the lion is also a statue found at the Wildlife Conservatory Society, but the other widely known place where you can find a statue such as this lion is the New York Public Library. Well, this building is the most prominent library building. I believe this library building that tourists most come and visit. It is the building located on 42nd Street and 5th Avenue. There is a statue of a lady sitting on a horse.
I can't say for certain whether the New York Public Library has been in New York City for as long as some of the churches, but it sure looks like it may have been and undergone a whole lot of renovation.
I never was really good at Roman numerals, so I couldn't tell you what year those numbers and letters, represent. I think if it starts with an M, it's like 19 or 1800 or something. But anyway, the Lenox Library, founded by James Lenox, dedicated to history, literature, and the fine arts. The Astor Library, founded by John Jacob Astor for the advancement of useful knowledge. The Tilden Trust, founded by Samuel Jones Tilden to serve the interest of science and popular education. Now these statues, I can understand the male statues. This guy looks like a scholar. But the women's statues, it's weird to have women's statues, especially this one where the lady is holding a chopped off head. But I said it was weird to have women's statues because way back in the day, women weren't allowed to be free thinkers, let alone read books. I mean, I'm glad that the statues are there because they represent women being able to become educated. Here's a weird thing: beauty, old yet ever new, eternal voice and inward word. I have no idea what that means. And this building is actually the Stephen A. Schwarzman building. Now here's another building, which is actually a church. This is one of the most, well, what I consider architecturally complicated buildings. All the etchings that needed to be done in order to construct this mammoth-sized building. Not that it's not beautiful, they are beautiful etchings, but I could imagine it took years of sanding and sandblasting in order to make this building what it is today. That's a nice Shields.
Some of the best images you'll see of a church can be taken at night.
There are what looks like Latin wording in an upside down eagle. And I didn't get a chance to, because of that bus, get a good look, but His Holiness Pope, yeah, I couldn't read that plaque. I thought I had more video of this building, but I guess I was wrong. I was gonna go across the street, but traffic came and I started running out of tape, so here's an other church, not as etched. This one is more like a home built. I guess they weren't going for the big wow factor with this church. Unlike the previous church, this church has stained glass windows, which is very common with churches. Also, this building has color, as you can see from the red and the white bricks used to construct the building. Now, we're zooming in on the image of a man in one of the stained glass windows. Don't ask me who or which saint that is supposed to represent, because I couldn't tell you. I'm noticing there are a couple of men or male images in these stained glass windows, none of which I know It is not very common to see a gate such as this in front of a church. This here is probably the oldest church in New York City. This plaque represents Pierre Toussaint from 1766 to 1853.
New York City has a lot of churches that have been around since, let's say, maybe, well, since this country was established. New York City, they probably didn't start building New York City until maybe the late 1700s, early 1800s. Probably earlier than that. I don't know the oldest church in this city, but as I roll around the city, I'll give you a glimpse of some of the architecture, and probably some of the churches will show the date when they were erected. Give you an idea of how long these buildings been around.
The plaque reads, Catholic Negro layman, member of Old... I'm going too fast. I guess there was something wrong with the video. Member of Old St. Peter's Parish for 66 years. Revered for his exemplary life and many works of charity. This tablet affixed June 29, 1953 by the John Boyle O'Reilly Community for Interracial Justice. This is St. Peter's Church. To the left, there is another plaque. But another 2 plaques. This one's a little harder to read. I'll give it my best shot. Oh, there we go. Now it's clear. In memory of Thomas Dongan, born 1634, died 1715, Earl of Limerick, general in the armies of England and France, Irish patriot and devoted Catholic, governor of New York during 1683 to 1688, father of the First Representative Assembly and the Charter of Rights and Privileges, granting popular government religious toleration, trial by jury, immunity from martial law, freedom from arbitrary arrest, framer of the first city charters for Albany and New York, founder of Latin School under Catholic auspices and teachers. This tablet erected by the Columbian Assembly 4th degree Knights of Columbus, October 8, 1911. Gives you an idea of how long this church been around. Just take a walk down these steps, look at some of the things. St. Peter's Church, founded 1785, excuse me. Take a look at the whole front end of this church. It has the Greek columns, kind of like the post office building. Yeah, so the whole construction of this building looks kind of like a Greek style house of worship. Here's another church. This church has a lot of etchings similar to the very first church we've seen. I always believe that churches at night look way spookier than during the daytime, especially those with statues. This church has no color. Here's another church. This has to be one of the biggest churches in New York City. I believe actual nuns stay in this church. This church has carvings and etchings of statues, and I'll repeat, during the nighttime, those statues kind of make the place look creepy. etchings on this building almost resemble the first church we viewed. As you can see, there is no color in the bricks of this church and no columns that would make it resemble a church or Greek style house of worship. The name of this church is Grace Church. We're walking towards the front end of the church. This image of etchings depict a scene of men helping other men. My guess, those who are poor and sickly. They have a lot of shrubbery and lawn care that needs tending to. Most churches don't have a whole lot of grass and trees. As you can see, this is a very large church. I believe this church, kind of like the post office, covers the full square block.
No, at least 200 years some of them have been in the city and are still standing, which is remarkable, seeing as some of the buildings that are being built now don't even last that long.
I was unable to get a clear shot of the plaque, so I'll move on. I believe right behind the church, but attached to the church, there is like a school or seminary. It's possible that actual nuns live at this church.
Some of the best images you'll see of a church can be taken at night. I don't know why churches have those Gothic looking statues on them. Maybe to ward off evil spirits, which would be ironic because most people consider like gargoyles and other creatures such as that, well, evil. So it is strange. The architecture makes the building look beautiful with the lighting at night. I bet when you looked at me, you thought I would probably try to be doing music videos or some other form of hip-hop music. My show would be basically geared towards music because that's what most young African Americans are doing these days. But surprisingly, I'm sure you found out you were wrong. Maybe that's a good surprise, you know, try to do something different, you know, try to mix it up a bit. I can't say for certain whether the New York Public Library has been in New York City for as long as some of the churches, but it sure looks like it may have been and undergone a whole lot of renovation. There's no real specific topic of today's episode. I'm just going to do some random things about New York City. So I guess you could say the topic of today's episode is New York City, even though you can't actually cover everything about New York City because there's so much there to talk about, you know, from the Brooklyn Bridge to the Gowanus Canal to the Hudson River to Harlem to Brooklyn itself and all the other boroughs. It's just too big. I could probably stretch this topic out for at least a year trying to cover all of New York City. But I would probably start with the borough of the Bronx, and that would probably take maybe a year on its own. We would like to give a big thank you to Dirty Doc Productions, Dirty Doc Production Studios, or DDP Studios, and Strictly Streets Entertainment, and the Bing Records, the Bing. If you would like to contact any one of those companies directly, you can just email them at thebingrecords@yahoo.com. That's DABINGRECORDS@yahoo.com.
Sorry we have to go, but time's up. And that concludes today's show of What's Gucci? I hope you enjoyed today's show. Return again for another one. I promise it will be either just as good or better than the last. So we hope to see you back next time on What's Gucci? Until then, bye for now. And remember, always keep it Gucci.